So thank you so much, guys, for joining our meeting today. This will be an informational webinar on the Energy Efficiency Conservation Block Grant Program. Just some housekeeping stuff. We're going to be recording this meeting, and we will send out the slides at the end. So make sure you're registered because we're going to send the slides to those who are registered in our constant contact list. Okay. So first off, we're going to go through an overview of the EECBG program, and then we are going to dive into some details on the program design, what you can spend the money on, as well as some technical assistance opportunities that we're offering. And I also want to preface this meeting by saying this is a space where we're going to build partnerships and things like that. We've got some really good resources on the line. We've got Clean Cities from Georgia, and we've also got Solar Energy Association people. So this is going to be a space of partnership, and we've got a lot of communities and a lot of resources. So if you need assistance in after this webinar, connecting with some partners, please reach out to me. My name is Leah, if I haven't said that, and we'll be sure to connect you with some people that can assist. So just to jump in, we're going to go over what the EECBG program is. So the EECBG, or Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant Program, was allocated to the states and communities through the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. The purpose of these funds are designed to modernize and upgrade American infrastructure to enhance competitiveness, drive the creation of good-paying jobs, tackle climate crisis, and ensure stronger access to economic, environmental, and other benefits for disadvantaged communities. So GFA will be the lead distributor for the state allocation amount, which was $2.9 million. Along with that, the Department of Energy has also made subgrants to different communities throughout the state. So if you were provided direct allocations from the Department of Energy, you actually do not qualify for the GFA funding. And if you need to find a list of people that were qualified, we have a link within our application document, but also if you just Google communities that receive direct funding for EECBG, most of the time that pops up. But so again, we are focusing our portion of the grants to communities who did not receive that direct funding. And as well, this funding needs to meet the Justice 40 requirements. So some other requirements, if you do apply, we've got Build America, Buy America, the Davis-Bacon Wage Act, and then the National Environmental Protection Act. NEPA will be on a case-by-case basis, depending on what kind of project you choose to pursue. As well, on our end, we will have reporting, and we need metrics from the communities that are selected for our quarterly annual reporting. That includes things such as job metrics, just a few other recording measurements. And for this portion of the funding, there is no cost match. So if you decide to apply, you will not have to provide funding as well. So going into the GFA program design, we have selected a few different variety of blueprints. So blueprints are DOE model projects and programs designed to help local governments achieve high impact results with limited dollars. So our grant amounts are going to be up to $150,000. And if you look below, we've got some blueprints listed that you can choose from. So within each blueprint, there are a list of key activities that we'll dive into later. And from those activities, you'll choose how to spend your grant allocation. Again, you can apply up to $150,000, but there are programs and projects within the blueprints. Oh, if you could be muted. I'll mute you. There are programs and projects that might not necessarily need the whole 150. So just kind of look them over. Again, we're going to dive into them, but we decided to go with 7 different blueprint options. So we've got energy planning, energy efficiency, so that's energy audits and building upgrades, energy savings performance contracts, community solar, solarized campaign, electric vehicle and fleet electrification, and workforce development. So those are our overall blueprints. And again, there will be key activities within each blueprint that you can pursue. Okay, so the way that we've designed this program is to prioritize certain communities. And we partnered with Southeast Energy Alliance, so SEA, and they helped us create a map to basically distinguish who those prioritized communities would be. So based on factors such as energy burden and sociodemographic and workforce indicators, they helped us identify top 20 counties. Also, if you have questions, just feel free to put them in the chat. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. But so they've identified the top 20 counties. And so within those counties, municipalities, including the county, will be considered prioritized. These communities also fall under the Justice 40 Census Tract. Both applications, however, will be competitive. So there will be a competitive application for the prioritized communities, but then there will also be a general state application. So a portion of the funding will go towards the entire state. Again, if you had not already been allocated directly from DOE, then you're able to apply for the general state if you don't fall within that prioritized community. So both applications, again, will be competitive, and the application period will open this Wednesday, January 24th, and then close on March 1st. So it's about a 6-week period. And during that time, we will also be taking questions and things like that. I'll get more into that though. Our application link and sample applications, as well as an application guidance document, will be posted on our website, as well as sent out to, again, our constant contact list, the registration list, people like that. And then one quick note, within the application site, you cannot actually save the application. So we're highly recommending that before you go in and start writing the application in QuickBase, that you review the application documents, because we have created like templates with the exact questions in them that we'll be asking in the application. So we'll get a little more into that too. I do have a few application review slides, but I just want to point that out, that you cannot save your work inside of QuickBase. Once you go in, you can edit it, but if you don't submit it, it won't be there when you go in again. So that's just a little quick note on that. And then as well, we'll be talking some more about technical assistance opportunities. We have partnered with the nonprofit Southface, who is online as well, and they will be providing technical assistance to those during the application period, if you need assistance with your program design, and any type of support along the way, such as engagement and things like that. They'll be here to help. So we'll have Nathan talk a little more about that later on. Oops, went the wrong way. And to go back to this is the list of priority counties. And again, both municipalities within the county and the county itself are considered prioritized. So when I send these slides out, you can review this. I'm not going to go through one by one, but just keep note of that. So this is the part where we're going to go into the blueprint details. I'm going to do a little explaining about each blueprint, kind of who should apply, the amount, and key activities. And then as well, we're hoping that these blueprints don't turn into one-off projects. So we provided some other funding resources that could be of interest if you were to apply. So the first one I'm going to get into is the energy planning. And a quick summary is energy planning would be a strategic roadmap, if you say, to guide community efforts and actions towards a defined energy goal. So these are goals met to articulate energy consumption data, energy sources, consumer data, all that kind of stuff. So communities who are new to the energy scene, we'd recommend pursuing this type of blueprint. This would be a very good beginning stage if you haven't really thought about energy yet. And again, the estimated cost for this one would be $50,000. But if you pursue this one, you will be allowed to, or others as well, you will be allowed to use that funding towards other key activities within that blueprint. Because sometimes stakeholder engagement isn't worth $50,000. So if you want to pursue other activities as well, we're allowing that. So activities under this blueprint include stakeholder engagement, energy data collection, and baseline establishment, developing a vision and goals, and then as well as adopting and publicizing a plan. And then below, like I said, we have some potential funding that could coincide with energy planning. So we've got DOE programs such as Community Leap and Clean Energy to Communities. And then as well, the IRA funding provides some good grants such as Climate Pollution Reduction Grant and Environmental and Climate Justice Block Grants. The second blueprint is energy efficiency, so energy audits and building upgrades. This will be conducting energy audits to help identify energy savings, any type of technical upgrades, and financial information for retrofit evaluations. Retrofits will be conducted on existing buildings, and they provide opportunities to improve energy performance, operational costs, and occupant health. So who should apply? Governments with building-related energy goals, such as tracking building operations and maintenance, reducing energy costs, and capital improvements. The cost for this one is very varying. Again, you could pursue some different type of activities, such as building energy assessments. You could conduct an energy audit, and this would include hiring of the energy auditor, and then building upgrades. So anything energy efficiency, grid interactivity, and electrification would fall under that. Again, some potential funding sources. We've got state-operated revolving loan fund, which will also be coming from the GFA office. And then we've got energy savings performance contracts, again, also something that GFA operates. And then IRA potential funding would be greenhouse gas reduction funds, and then loan program office offers assistance, but then they also have their own energy infrastructure reinvestment program that they run out of DOE. Okay, another blueprint, 2B, which is energy efficiency and electrification in buildings. So these are energy savings performance contracts. This is a contract and financing method that enables public and private sector entities to implement facility improvements with little to no upfront capital. So people interested, if you're a government organization facing aging infrastructure, rising energy costs, and limited budgets, including organizations such as cities, housing authorities, and school districts seeking to lower their energy bills and maintenance costs. The projected cost for that is under $100,000. And then, where did it go? Okay, and the key activities include the procurement of the energy savings performance contractor, and then any technical or legal assistance needed after that, implementation and acceptance of the performance contracts, and then post-implementation measurements and verifications. There's not a full necessarily funding source for this, but DOE does have a really great resource center called the Performance Contracting National Resource Center. And they have some really good resources there where they can provide you further financial information and things like that. Okay, the fourth one is community solar. So this is a varying size and customer type business model that facilitates the creation of solar projects, allowing multiple customers to subscribe to the project and receive a portion of the generated energy. This allows for lower energy burdens, resilient grid infrastructure, and further investments in your community, such as jobs and clean energy opportunities. Those who are interested, you're potentially a business and resident. This includes renters and homeowners. who do not already have access to solar-ready property or the capital upfront to provide solar. So the cost for this is varying because the activities include a very large array of activities. So we've got stakeholder engagement and outreach, and then we've got things such as procurement, of technical support, and then site assessment, and then going as far as the installation of solar panels. So those could be rooftop or ground mounted. There is a kilowatt requirement that you can't go over, and this one does involve NEPA process, so just a consideration you might want to take in if you apply. And the potential funding rating would be National Community Solar Partnership. That's a DOE program. And then as well, we've got tax credits for solar under the IRA, and then the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund. The next blueprint is Solarize Campaigns. And this is a local or regional coordinated campaign to encourage and support the community towards a go solar effort by installing solar energy systems. And then customers who are a part of this effort receive a collective discount while lowering energy costs and creating a reliable grid. So those who are interested could be potential communities, but the campaigns are usually run by a municipality in partnership with a local nonprofit. So again, I want to go back to that building of relationships and things like that. Georgia Solar Energy Association is a really great resource to pursue. They're really good with understanding more of the background of both the Solarize campaigns and then the community solar. Again, potential costs are varying. Key activities under this one include designing the Solarize campaign details, stakeholder engagement and outreach, procurement of solar installers, developers, legal, technical support, RFP creation, all of that, and then education around the Solarize program and advertising. Okay, the next blueprint is electric vehicles and fleet transition. This one is the planning and purchasing of electric vehicles for government fleets, as well as associated charging infrastructure and site upgrades. So government seeking to stimulate the EV market, maybe introduce some new energy infrastructure, and as well as removing your aging fleets. This would be a really good blueprint to pursue. Costs can vary. There's a lot of key activities under this one. So you could develop your fleet replacement plan, which includes outreach and stakeholder engagement. You could fund site planning and preliminary assessments. You could develop utility data sharing agreements, charging plans, as well as a cost estimate of your electric bill. You could use the funding towards procurement and technical support to purchase the EVs. So that could as well include identifying EVs based on fleet needs, cost estimates, financial examinations, and then you could also use the funding to install the charging infrastructure. So this is a great one to pursue, again, if you're interested in being introduced to the EV infrastructure world. There are a lot of braiding and funding sources that also could assist with this. Bill offers through, I just listed some of the departments, but DOE, EPA, Department of Transportation, Maritime Administration, Department of Transportation, Federal Highway Association. All of those people are offering different sources of EV funding. As well, the IRA does have tax credits, and they do have clean heavy-duty vehicle funding. And then our last blueprint is workforce development. And this is the planned approach to enhance the skills of individuals outside the workforce seeking employment, typically entry-level workers seeking job growth, and then experienced workers in the energy industries. So this could be continuing education, training, professional development opportunities. This is geared towards communities that are interested in building up their community members, assisting with job placement, and career building. So key activities under this are including workforce needs assessments, program design and curriculum development, as well as stakeholder engagement, and then paying the trainees or trainers, which includes also wraparound services such as daycare and food and things like that while you're at the meetings. Potential additional funding sources include environmental climate justice block grants, energy efficient building code adoption, and then the contractor training. So I'm going to pause and then go over some application steps. So this will be when you're in the application page, which again, the link will be provided on our website and will be blasted out to our constant contact pages. But we're going to go over kind of the first steps when you're within the application. So when you click through our website and click on the application link, which is not there yet. So don't, if you're looking on the website, it's not posted yet. It'll be posted on Wednesday. But when you get to the page and click on the link, it should take you to a home landing page. So when you're in this page, this is where you can see your guidance documents. So we've got the application guidance. Again, the application guidance is a great resource. It's got all the blueprints listed, all of the descriptions for who should apply, what it can apply for, and it's also got all of the key activities listed. So it's a really good application resource. And then below it, as you can see, you've got your sample application for the priority communities, and then you've got a sample application for the general communities. And again, these applications are, or application documents are direct, quote unquote, questions from the application. So it's not trying to trick you up. It's just trying to be a nice template for you guys to refer to so you don't lose all your work in the application site. So when you log in or click through the link, not log in, sorry, you'll see this homepage, and this will be where you click to start your application. As well, you have my program or my contact information as the program manager, and then you have Southface's information as well. And again, they can help you with any application assistance and technical assistance that might come up. So this is a really good resource when you first click through the pages. And then this is a screenshot from the application itself. So when you click through and start your application, this will be the first few questions. So it's very basic information, community names, a contact, email, a UEI if you know that for your community, and then selection of blueprint and requested funding amount. And then when you click through those questions, based on your responses, it'll come up with your application questions. And again, I really encourage you guys to go look at these sample applications. It'll have all the application questions and just further guidance if you have any questions. Okay, and I'm gonna jump over and talk about our technical assistance opportunities. We have Nathan Bissett on the line with us, and he is with Southface. So Nathan, if you want to talk through some of these slides, just let me know when you need to see the next one.
Absolutely. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So hopefully you've heard about Southface, but if not, Southface is a 45-year-old nonprofit organization based in Atlanta that's been at the forefront of sustainability throughout the Southeast and especially in the built environment. And our mission is to promote sustainable homes, workplaces, and communities through research, education, advocacy, and technical assistance such as that we're providing here. So we're deeply rooted in building science. We've done hundreds and hundreds of building energy audits and worked with tons of residential and commercial structures to help bring more sustainability to those structures. And we have done that through a number of different programs. You may have heard of Earthcraft. We have a new program called Bit Building, and then our Good Use program that helps nonprofit buildings achieve energy efficiency and savings. And so we're here to help. If you want to go to the next slide. And we work across the life cycle of a building, and we provide workforce training in a number of these different facets. So anything from design, planning, and financing to constructing, to occupying, operating, and maintaining it, to renovating it, to the end of life. So we're here for a number of different services, but specifically for the purposes of this call, here to help you with your blueprints. So we want to make sure that you have resources available to help you conceive ideas for the blueprint, to make sure that you feel that there's a good fit between what you want to do in your community and the blueprint that's available. And then hopefully once you receive an award, also help you through the process to make sure that you're getting the resources that you need. So South Face on the advocacy front works very efficiently as a bridging organization. So we have a lot of different organizations that we work with to make sure that they can help deliver what you need. So a variety of the technical and application assistance options are outlined here, somewhat of as a menu of services. So we can host workshops and take you and your community through a workshop to work on the budget, to work on community engagement programs, to work on the program design or work plans. We are available just as a technical assistance, as a hotline, if you want to call us up and ask us for feedback on an idea or a quote from a vendor to make sure that you have a gut check to make sure that the numbers are coming in like they should be. Anything that you might need as far as energy audits, benchmarking, the bid support, stakeholder presentations, if you need any help putting together a presentation for a larger audience, work with electric vehicle charger selection and incentive support, a little bit as Leah was saying about the program grading, curriculum development, PV selection, physical and digital marketing assets, and then just general outreach and support. So please just let us know if you need anything. My contact information is available, and we're here to help.
Thank you, Nathan. And again, South Face is a great resource, and we really encourage you guys to rely on them if you have any questions with your application, if you have any problems or concerns with your program design, anything like that. They're really helpful. Okay, and I think that takes us to the end. And I wanted to go through and answer some of the questions in the chat. Right now I'm seeing one from Howard that says, can you combine projects? You could essentially combine blueprints if you wanted to. I know that I mentioned if there's a few different activities within the blueprint you would like to pursue, that is definitely a great path to pursue, as long as there is funding for it as well. So if you apply for the whole 150 and again pick like energy planning and you want to do all of the activities, as long as your funding covers that, then I don't see there being an issue. But if you pursue a few different blueprints and the funding doesn't cover it, that would be questionable. So just make sure before you apply, and if you want to apply to multiple different projects, that you understand your budget and things like that. Trying to go back to the questions, sorry.
Yeah, Leah, I can go through the questions
Oh,
for you.
thanks, thanks, Rachel.
No problem. Jessica Lavender has a question here. Will communities have a better chance of winning if they apply for more than one pathway?
No, there's no prioritizing based on what you apply for. It's more so just how you answer the application questions and things like that.
I think this question has been answered, but we have from Monica Harden, if you are not in the priority listing, can you still apply?
Yes. So again, the priority is one separate pot of funding, and then there's a whole separate funding for the general, state, and all those other communities that weren't directly funded through DOE. So again, I think Kelly put the list in there if you want to see if your community did receive a direct allocation. But if you did not, then yeah, you're more than welcome to apply.
And just to combine a few questions in here, a lot of people are wondering if the blueprint breakdown could be emailed or where they will be able to find that. I think you were mentioning on Wednesday, but there's a few questions on if they could get the breakdown and resources for that.
Yeah, so the blueprint breakdown is included in the application guidance document as well. DOE has a lot of great resources. If you just type in DOE blueprints, all of that information is also on their site. We have some information linking from our site, and I will be sending out these slides. So I know there's not too much detail in these slides, but it is a good reference. Okay. Let's
Scroll
see.
through. Erica Holman or Hill, sorry. Only local governments can apply, so CBOs should form partnerships with local governments. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes, if that's what the community organizations want to pursue, then yeah, I highly encourage partnerships throughout this process. Again, maybe Southbase could be a really great resource to connecting you with some of those partnerships. I know on this call, there's a whole lot of different organizations and things like that. So I highly recommend finding a partnership within your community. And that is part of one of the application questions is, have you kind of taken the time to look for those partnerships, and are you aware of those organizations? So that's a really great point.
So I'm not sure if Kelly, I don't think Kelly has answered to this one. Shauna Whitney, how long is the application review process? And if funds are granted, is this a reimbursement after the program is completed or a funds made available to implement?
Good question. So our process in total, we're expecting to have rewards within 6 weeks after the application closes. Could be sooner, but we're going to give the 6-week timeline. And then what was the second part of the question?
It was more of a statement, I would say. Sorry, one second. If funds are granted, is
Oh, I
this a reimbursement after the program is completed or are the funds made available to implement?
It'll be a reimburse as you go kind of process. Okay. You have opening. Okay. Any more questions, Miracle? I see
One
Kelly's
second.
responding to some of them.
Yes, and Freddie, I see that you're off your mic. Feel free to ask your question if you like, if you're ready.
Yeah.
Sorry to put you on the spot. But we can go on with the next question if you're not ready though. So I have a question here. Just want an affirmation. My community is currently planning to upgrade neighborhood street lightings. Could that project fall under any of the blueprints?
That would be a question offline that I can help you address. Off the top of my head, I would say yes, but I would need to do a little more research into that. I don't want to give you any false promises with that one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Jay has a bit of a kind of a statement question. Give me a second. So CPRG, both in PCAPAs and implementation grants, is encouraging municipalities to work together in a coalition in a concerted way in regional approaches across key sectors. It seems EECBG can leverage and scale through these projects, can be formed particularly around affordable housing lens and strategies. So can a local government submit a coalition application and approach aligned with CPRG relations and projects?
Okay. I would say that a coalition would have to submit just one application, meaning that they would get 150,000. Like, I don't think we're going to allow it to be where if like 3 communities submit in like a coalition, they each get 150. But if you want to just submit together and are fine with the 150,000 grant, then I don't see a problem with that. But again, I wouldn't be allocating 150 for every community within that coalition, if that makes sense.
Awesome, thank you.
Mhm.
And Justin, Daniel, I believe your question has been answered already. Those preferred communities will be on our website. But if anybody else has any other questions, feel free to hop off the mic if you like
Thank
to.
you. Thanks, Kelly.
Perfect. Kelly just dropped that in the chat there. But yes, any more questions for Leah, feel free to hop off your mic if you like, or drop them in the comments box.
Are there any more questions? Oh, do you have the total funding available for certain programs? Could you go into a little explanation about that question? Let's see.
I don't know if I can. Yeah, the first one.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry. You have like some funding. Of course, it's not known. For example, performance contract and all of that. But there are like certain categories. I think the first category were like training or outreach. Do you have like how many funding opportunities, or what is the total funding available?
So the total funding for like if you were to pursue like energy planning and things like that, you could apply up to the whole 150,000. Does that answer your question?
No, I mean like how many funding opportunities is available? Like if the total amount like 500,000.
Oh, okay. So we're looking at roughly, I think it's about 20 different awards. Does that answer it?
20 awards for the first one for the planning, or 20 awards?
20 awards in general. So again, like communities that want to apply for this funding, they can pick which blueprint they want to pursue, but overall, we're giving about 20 awards. Yeah, Don, if you want to speak up and talk about community solar, maybe give a little explanation for those on the line.
Well, hey, thank you. Maybe just real quickly, this is Don Moreland, the Executive Director of Georgia Solar Energy Association. And just want to clarify a little of the regulatory landscape that surrounds community solar real quick. As some of the details provide, community solar is a really great program where different community members can share parts of a larger solar array and get the benefits of the energy that's produced, and be able to reduce electricity bills that way. So it's kind of a off-site solar option as opposed to having it on your own roof or on your own property. The thing I wanted to just maybe provide some clarification on is that Georgia is not one of the states that has a good regulatory regime for community solar. In other words, we don't have a law that allows the Georgia Power, for example, to be able to implement a community solar program in your community. The important part here is if your community or if a municipality in your community has their own electrical service, like has their own electrical utility, then that gives you a lot of flexibility on whether this Blueprint 3B is an option for you, this community solar. But if you do not have that municipal utility available, then the community solar option might not be really available for you. And that's all I wanted to kind of point out. I'm happy for others to jump in here. It's such a great solution, but currently it's widely unavailable in the state of Georgia just due to our regulatory landscape.
Thank you, Don. That was very helpful. I see a question that says, will this be the first? Oh, go ahead, Miracle, if you want to read
Oh,
it.
no, sorry. Maria says, will the first insurance under the program, or has this been issued before? If the latter, do you have a list of previous awards? Apologies if you already covered this already.
This was implemented back in the ARA phase. So I think the last time this was run was 2011, I want to say. I don't know if that's the exact date, but so it's been a really long time. And so the guidance has kind of changed a little from what I'm understanding. And it was a much different funding amount. So I don't have anything I could provide, such as awards and things like that, but it has been implemented before.
Awesome.
Okay.
Any last questions?
Leah, if I can just add quickly, sorry, this is Kelly, Cuts with GIFA. There's a lot of questions about the specific blueprints, and I think if folks haven't already, our website has the links directly to the DOE EECBG site, and they have done a really great job of one, providing these blueprints to kind of fast track the review and everything, but also there's a you can download each blueprint's key activity summaries. It goes into really good detail on what you can do. You know, Leah summarized it here on the PowerPoint, which we'll be sending out, but the website really goes into great detail on what you can do. And then also, as Leah also did, the potential activity costs associated with each. And again, you know, we've got the great benefit of having Southface working with us on this to help you all, you know, apply for these funds and really try to help us remove any barriers to the priority communities and the rest of the state applying for and implementing these funds.
Thanks, Kelly. Okay, I'm gonna do, when will the slide information be available? I can send it out by the end of this week. And we also, as you probably were notified, have been recording this meeting. So if there's any questions that we didn't get, we have the list of questions in here. So we'll be sure to make sure we address those. There's no other questions. I'm giving it one last call. We'll end a little early today. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go with no. And again, there's Nathan's information for Southface. If you have any other questions, please reach out to him. He is a great resource, and as well, his information is posted all over the application. Application guidance documents also includes it, and it'll be on our website. So thank you guys. I'm going to stop sharing, and please reach out to me or Nathan if you have any other questions. Have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.